Communities organized and ready for emergencies. CORE is a region-by-region program of the ODPM, and it's designed to reach you wherever you are once you're willing to be informed about preparedness. Hello, I'm Nayat Lee. You can get all the information and resources you need before and after an emergency or disaster. It's all available from the ODPM and the Disaster Management Unit of your regional corporation. Before and after an emergency, this is your #1 resource. But remember though, that during an emergency, you and your family are on your own, and it may take hours or days before help arrives.
But don't be scared. Be prepared for if and when that happens. I'm Keith Maurice. Come rain or shine, we're coming to your region to help you and your community get organized and ready for any emergency. Welcome to CORE.
Tonight we are in Port of Spain. Belmont and Gonzales roll down into the sprawling capital, which is in the thick of the Carnival season. While we celebrate our Carnival culture, the ODPM is trying to create a culture of preparedness.
Carnival is full of dangerous situations. The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management wants you to have a good time under the safest conditions possible.
A hazard event is possible any day, any season. Your personal safety is always your responsibility, Carnival or no Carnival.
Port of Spain is bordered by a coastline and has been growing and developing very rapidly over the past 20 years, resulting in urban sprawl and a very high population density. Port of Spain is dynamic in the sense that it does not only have to worry about natural hazards, but anthropogenic or man-made hazards as well. During the Carnival season, it's important for citizens who plan to participate in activities in the capital to be aware of this. During the Carnival period, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management sets up a mobile emergency operations center. And we also liaise with first responder agencies such as fire, police, and REACT to manage any of the emergencies that could potentially occur. This, however, does not deal specifically with your personal safety, which is your priority and your responsibility to ensure.
The best way to have peace of mind at Carnival is to be organized and ready for any emergency.
When you get to an event, the first thing you should do is identify all possible exit routes and figure out how to get to each one. It is the most important thing you can do to keep yourself safe in a festival situation.
Before an event, you be the person in the line to have a discussion about what to do if anything should happen.
If something happens, remain calm, do not panic, just get to the nearest exit.
To be fully prepared, you must figure out more than one way out of the city should anything happen.
During the Carnival season, the large crowds that gather in themselves can be a hazard, and because of that, we need to have certain precautions in place. The ODPM tries to make sure that these mass crowd situations are managed properly, and even in situations where you have to leave Port of Spain, you should have an alternate route to take should your original route become compromised. So a lot of planning can be done before the big days, where you determine how are you going to get there, what road you're going to take, and should that road become blocked or impassable for some reason, you have an alternate route or a place to stay nearby. If you're linemen in a group, it's important that you have a little talk with your friends before. You can decide on a meeting point should you get separated and have contact numbers for each other. So in the event that you're asked to evacuate, you don't spend time looking for your friends in all the chaos. You evacuate and then you wait for them at your meeting point once that spot is safe.
At any event, the bigger the crowd, the more difficult it's to manage, and the more potential there is for serious injury or loss of life.
One of the most important first responders at Carnival time is the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service. They determine most safety guidelines and they're always on the lookout for what they call fire and life safety issues.
Even if you go to a huge fete or small backyard line, you can scan your surroundings and quickly assess your level of safety.
If you are having a function, maybe as I said before, a party, a fete, however, what you find happening is that you have to go to court to get a bar license. Now, a bar license, when you go to the magistrate court, they are going to request that you have safety coverage and security coverage. So that is where you have to come now to the fire station to pay for the number of persons and number of persons who are to secure your fire and life safety at the venue. These venues are being inspected prior to the event. We need the fire service in a capacity of doing what we call fire and life safety in terms of crowd control and in terms of safety at the venue. Safety at the venue meaning the means of egress. There is a calculation we use to estimate the number of people that are supposed to be in this venue. That is people standing, not sitting people. And what we do, we have fire officers there actually at the door checking with checkers, checking to see, because the promoters have to come in and give us the number of people are expected in the venue. So we check. When they reach the number of people, we actually have the authority now to cut off that and lock the gate.
In the worst case, should something happen, an emergency occur, your job is to let the emergency services, such as fire and police, do their job. You don't want to crowd around or try to offer assistance, because when you do that, you actually delay or obstruct them from doing their job. So you try to stay back and let them handle the situation and take care of you. You also want to keep calm should the call to evacuate be issued. You don't want to get caught in like a stampede and be trampled, which can happen in very severe situations. And the fact that Trinidadians have very little experience with disaster means that panicking will be very, very easy because of that lack of experience. Along with knowing where the exits are, you should also learn where the muster points are, which is a spot that you should go to should they tell you to evacuate. It is typically a safe spot away from the danger points in the venue. Also, please listen to any emergency messages that are issued, such as stop pulling on fences, don't climb on this, don't climb on that. These messages are there for your own safety and should be adhered to.
The main issue is when you're having a alarm, look at your means of getting out, which we call the means of egress. You look at where the people are going to. If they're going to be in the backyard, you should actually have two ways of getting out of the backyard, right? And if you have somebody who is differently abled, you should also make arrangement that if something happens, there is someone who can actually assist this person as to get out the area that is affected. That's one of the things. You look at tripping hazards. You look at where you have cords running, pipes, make sure they are properly covered and secured. Look at how the venue is set up. If the venue is set up in a way to make everything too small, and you have, let's say you're expecting 25 people, but when you look at your backyard, your backyard could only take 15, then you have a problem. You should now look at alternatives, maybe inside. Look at these, that is how you look at it in terms of your line.
One precaution to keep in mind during carnival parties or on the days itself is to keep away from music trucks and speakers. Don't be tempted to let the vibe and the music convince you to go right up to them, because these trucks, the equipment is usually stacked very high, and there's a chance that if it's not properly secured, it can tumble down and you could also be injured. And the same can be said when you're at your fete. Climbing up on the speakers is typically not advisable because the risk of injury is much higher.
When planning for hazard events during Carnival, remember to include persons with disabilities and children in your plans.
It is important that you have a talk with your child and you tell them not to panic and to try and remain calm. If they become separated from you, you'll tell them to stay away from strange people, except for police officers. And it's very important that you show them what a police officer in uniform looks like, and of course tell them what they should say. For example, your name and your contact number.
Wherever you are in Trinidad and Tobago for Carnival, all of these safety measures apply, not just in Port of Spain.
The last thing to remember is that natural and man-made hazards can occur at any time, and there's nothing stopping an earthquake or a storm from taking place during the days scheduled for all those fun events. And because of that, you need to constantly keep yourself safe and be prepared. Having an emergency kit and your family emergency plan does not go out the window just because it's Carnival Monday and Tuesday.
I'm Nayad Lee.
And I'm Keaton Maurice.
Be alert and keep good.